Hey, welcome to week 13. Isn't this fun? By now, of course, you've turned in your annotated bib, and of course, I've gotten those back to you already, and that means you're quite a ways along in your research. I've had a chance to say what I think about your research, okay? So I certainly hope you've gone back and looked at my comments on that. Really, really important. Now, your research never ends. Your research continues, so you should be doing more research this week and even more research next week, even after you've turned in your draft, okay, for peer review. You can keep adding research to your paper. You can keep revising your paper up until the minute you turn it in to me. So this is the week I'm looking at your outlines. Don't wait for me to get back to you on your outlines. Start reading your paper, writing your paper. The outline's for you more than it is for me, okay? It's just a checkpoint at this point in the process. It helps you get started actually writing the paper. So the outline's for you. I'll also review your thesis statement, but you can continue to work on your thesis statement. So that said, one way you can really start your paper is make a list, brainstorm a list, okay, which you've already done with your outline. Look at your outline. Okay, that's your list, and say, okay, how my paragraph's going to unfold. What do I want to say? I've said earlier you need 13 points to make in this paper. That's what you need. 13 paragraphs. 5 times 3 is 15. That's where I get 15 paragraphs. One's the introduction, one's the conclusion. So you need 13 points you want to make. They can be, some of the points can be similar, some of them can even replicate themselves, okay, if you want to give other examples, that kind of thing. But you have 13 things you want to say. Those are theoretically your topic sentences, those kind of forms your outline, and then the rest of the paragraph is your support, your information, your examples, your research, all right? So you start each paragraph, this is critical, start each paragraph what you want to say, what you've observed, what you've learned, similar to your Faulkner analysis. What did you learn? What do you want to say? So you go ahead and say it. Then the rest of the paragraph is comprised of reflecting on your research. How did your research help you arrive at this point you just made, at this thing you just said, okay? And you use some examples in there, you use some direct quotes from your research, and that builds out the paragraphs. So you do this 13 times and your paper is written. Then you see what your conclusion is. You know, you've got these paragraphs, they all flow down, they go, oh, here's my conclusion. Then you come back and you write your introduction out of your conclusion. Don't try to write your introduction first. It's really laborious, okay? Look at your conclusion. Make sure that your introduction is kind of the mirror image of your conclusion. Your introduction basically promises the reader that this is what I'm going to say in the paper. This is what I'm going to show. This is what I'm going to prove. You get to the conclusion. You showed it. You proved it. Reflect it back into the introduction. You're good to go. Okay? So I make it sound easy, but I have some other material that helps you out quite a bit. If you will look at the syllabus, page 6 of the syllabus, and start with item H there, that really gives you line by line, item by item, how I expect this paper to look. How I expect it to have all these different elements in it, and that's how you're going to get an A. So make my expectations very clear. Look at the syllabus, please. It's in the first folder on the left of your home page, all right, class information folder. Go to page 6, start with item H, go down through that, and that really spells out the details of how this paper is supposed to work and what I'm going to be looking at for actually grading it. Now, the actual grade is going to come from the rubric, and if you look at the rubric, item 8.3 in the table of contents in the Unit 3 learning module, that tells you precisely how your grade's going to be formulated, okay? So there's no mysteries here. So these are all study guides for you. Look at your syllabus, that's a study guide. Look at the rubric, item 8.3, the table of contents of the learning module, that's a study guide. That tells you precisely what I'm expecting in your research paper. There's no magic here. Now, Sunday night, you're turning the paper in for peer review. It must be complete. Do not turn in a piece of garbage to your peers. I will check, I will look. All right, I will not grade your paper there. I will not make any comments on your paper there. You'll get no feedback from me. You need to put your paper there Sunday night and then give feedback to 3 other students. That's how you get the 4 posts to get 100 on this particular discussion posting. It's a very important one. Counts for you know, your class participation grade. Okay, so get your paper in Sunday night to peer review. Look at other students' papers. Look at the comments they make on your paper. Now, 9 times out of 10, the comments to your paper aren't real helpful. Everybody's really afraid to hurt their feelings, each other's feelings. So that's not entirely the point of peer review. The point of peer review is to expose you to other students' papers, okay? And you recognize good writing when you see it. So you can find a paper there and say, wow, this is really well written. It's not so much what it says, it's how it's written and how well it supports what it says. That's what counts. So I want you to be reading each other's papers with the goal of learning something about writing. Plus, you got a chance to look at each other's topics. There's some extremely interesting topics this semester in these 4 sections that I'm teaching. Okay, so please take peer review seriously, as much as anything is to read other students' papers for your own knowledge. Okay, then you must take that new learning that you do next week. Okay, after your paper's turned in, you're still learning, and you can still be doing some research, and you must revise and polish your paper before you turn it into me the following week. do not turn in precisely the same paper that you turn into peer review. And by all means, do not turn in a piece of CRAP to me. And as soon as I say that, I still get students turning in complete papers, papers with proofreading errors on, that kind of stuff. I guarantee I'll give you an F. I really will. It's the end of the semester. We're all a little worn out from all the grading, all the commentary. Don't press any of my buttons. Turn in your very best work, okay? I'm not doing the work for you. You do the work. You're in charge of your own learning. If you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. But the syllabus is very, very clear now, okay? Go to page 6, item 8H, look through that. Go to the rubric, item 8.3 in the table of contents of the learning module. Look at that. Very, very clear. Lots of support, lots of help in this learning module. And of course, always look at the sample I provide. If you look in the textbook on page 468, it's the same thing. It's the same link as item 9.10. It's the it's the research paper that shows up on page 468. It's a very good paper. It's not perfect, but you'd still get an A if you wrote a paper that well. With those many qualities. Okay, so always model your own work off somebody else's work. Make sure you go back and look at your annotated bib, what you said. Make sure you go back and look at your outline, how you organize your paper. Get organized. Get the writing done this week. Revise it next week. Turn it into me the following week. Okay, get at it.